It's been a long road. A whole year has passed since we began this journey. We take this moment to reflect on what we've done, where we've been, and who's been all part of the journey. This is episode 50. Well, here we are now.
It's weird to be at episode 50 and pretty much within just almost 1 year to the day, you know, I mean, a little bit later, but it's crazy. You know, we've done 50 episodes in the past year. Right.
I think just being here on episode 50 and still being around a year later is something. I remember a lot of people were telling me like, dude, just don't start a podcast. Like by episode 7, you guys will die out. I'm like, really? Just 7? In 7 episodes, we're just going to fade out? Like, yeah, man, just don't even. Yeah. Look at us now, 50 later.
Well, I know, like, and that's, we all kind of, you know, we didn't know really what was going to happen with it. We just kind of started doing it as, and I know we've covered it before, but, you know, it was just the conversations we would have back and forth in the office together. And we said, we might as well record these and put it for everybody else to listen to. Say, maybe people will listen, maybe they won't, but we'll have fun in the meantime. And we'll use it as a therapy session. Right. And 50 therapy sessions later.
50 later. I definitely feel a lot better from when we first started this. When the whole thing came into conception, I would say. It was very abstract. The idea was just like, let's just talk shit like how we normally do. And with some of the stories that we've heard. And just put it on tape, I guess. Would that be tape? Yeah, let's just say tape. Let's just put it on tape and see where it goes from there. I remember when we started episode 1, it was horrible. Not horrible as far as the topic went, but just our rhythm of doing it was freaking terrible.
Oh yeah, the nerves. It's like when you're in school and had to do a speech in front of the whole class type thing.
Yeah.
And even though we were all sitting in our own respective homes and not even face to face, I don't think. It still felt very awkward because you just knew that eventually somebody else was going to listen to this and you're going, man, I hope what we're saying people like, you know?
Yes. I remember too. I think we actually did try to do it by video where all 3 of us were on video and everything was skipping. Everything started to skip. And then I started getting nervous about it and I started like squeezing the water bottle. And then that's when Shoreline was saying like, yo, yeah, lose the water bottle, bro.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I used to jangling around. Well, and then Shoreline told me about dragon breath. Me heavy breathing into the microphone all day. And then even with the microphone quality, right? We've upgraded since then.
Yes. And that's totally thanks to you guys on Patreon for helping us with that, because had it not been for you guys giving us your support and your feedback and I'll admit it, your money, we would not have been able to get the gear we had, and we'd sound freaking terrible. I mean, we'd still get it done, but the ghetto rig that we had to do to get the episodes out for like episodes 1 through 10, I think it was rough. Very, very rough. And I think
it sounded like, I know some listeners said it sounded like we were or at least for me, that I sounded like I was in a bathroom.
I mean, that's more or less what it was. I mean, so
then I sat in the closet just to use the clothes and everything else as like a sound,
yes,
sound deadening, you know?
Yes.
But I don't know if that helped at all or not. I think it was just the mics that we were using.
True. Very true. So we posted like a sample picture of our ghetto rig on social medias for some change. It was literally like a TV dinner stand with a ghetto mic and using our clothes, like MVP said, as like a sound buffer, which really didn't help, but it sounded better being in a bathroom than being in a wide open space and you can hear literally everything. So that was a big learning curve for us because other than Shoreline himself, we had no clue how to audio set up anything, like anything. And then flash forward to a few weeks ago, when we're actually helping out the Dick Talk and Mimosas podcast, now they come to us for stuff like, oh, hey, Audio Daddy this, and help us out with that. Like, I feel that much smarter that I know what I'm talking about because we've done worse.
Well, and that's mostly you and Shoreline, because even from my end, I'm like, I plug the what into where and I press what button, monkey see, monkey do kind of thing.
Well, now all the wiser, like, okay, do this and do that and press record. Well, at least the setup that we have now, it's so much simpler than how we had it before. Like, okay, let me plug this in first. Let me turn my computer on. Let me have my phone on the side to kind of record me in case the computer dies. And then let me have a whole bunch of other stuff so they can all talk together and then I can at least hear you through my headphones. Oh, it was such a ghetto rig. You guys have no idea.
Yeah, it was, well, and I think even on my end, I was just using my phone and my headphones to plug into my phone. And that's what I was using on my end. So I think you and Shoreline even had you were using, well, Shoreline was using a decent mic, I think.
Right.
But you had the cheaper one, and I was just using my phone because I'm technology illiterate. And so I couldn't figure it out one day. And I was like, oh, we just got to record. I'm just going to use my phone because I think Shoreline got tired of trying to explain it to me over the phone. Yeah. You could hear the frustration in his voice.
Right. And then we had to like email it to each other so we can at least string it all together. And then Shoreline himself had like 2 or 3 different programs pulled up just to kind of get them all to talk together at the same time. It was such a hit. Like he tried to explain.
Oh, that's right. Because he's using 3 different platforms or 3 different recording areas. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I forgot about that.
I remember he tried to explain it to me once. I'm just like, bro, this is like too much IT for me. Like, I have a hard time like just getting my browser to save the pages that I recently visited. So I'm the dumbass that has like 15 different tabs open because I'm scared to close it.
Yeah, what if I never find it again?
Right.
That's how I feel about the audio files. I'm like, I need to send this off immediately so I don't lose it.
Right. Or before I accidentally delete it for some reason, like, no.
Yeah, man, it's been a lot of crazy changes from the start of this to 1 year later.
Yeah.
Be curious to see what even changes in 1 year from now.
Yeah. And I remember too when we first fired this off, we were like, man, I'd be happy as fuck if we even get like 100 downloads. And it took a while. It took a while for it to creep up. Like I think it was like 3 weeks in and we barely hit that 150 mark. I'm like, but we were happy as shit too. Like, fuck yeah, 150. Now here we are, and like episode 50.
We did a 500 download episode. Then I think we did 1,000 download episode. And then after it hit like 1,000, it was like, hey, we're going to do we got to do a 3,000 download episode, but we're already at 4,000 down. Like we're behind. Oh my God.
Right. Not like slow down everybody, but don't slow down, but we need to hurry up. Now we're like basically at 19,000. Well, we're like 10 episodes away, but I foresee that happening real soon. So 19,000 to 1 year later, 50 episodes, 19,000 downloads. That's a lot, man. And really, it's all out.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It's really out to all of you out there listening to us, giving us support, giving us feedback, both positive and negative. Emphasis on the positive and the negative.
Interacting with Six on the social medias.
Yes, and Shoreline too.
And Shoreline too. But when it comes to the social media side of things, it's all Six. If it's me who answers you, it's because Six asked me, hey, there's a question on here somebody asked and it's in your wheelhouse. Can you respond? But other than that, it's all Six doing the interactions.
I try, man.
He's our little social butterfly.
Which is funny because I am hardcore. I'm like the introvert of the 3 of us. Like probably like the most introverted out of the 3 of us. But I'm the one talking.
If anybody's the social butterfly, it's me. But I'm the social butterfly in the in face thing. I'm weak on the social media front.
Right. And then I'm kind of like vice versa. I mean, I take that back. Like I can socialize with people, but I can only socialize so much because there are topics that I can't relate to. Like when someone starts to dive into a conversation I have no idea about, I'm like, sure. Yeah. Atoms and molecules. Sure thing. I have no clue what you're talking about, but I'm just like the idiot nodding along. Like, yeah. Or like a
Sounds good, friend.
or like a deaf person, like you're like he doesn't want to let you know that he's deaf, but he kind of just nods along.
Smile and wave, boy. Smile and wave.
That's exactly it. Smile and wave. Smile and wave.
As soon as I see his mouth stop talking, I knew the conversation's over. Yeah.
Right. Or like they're
That's
waiting
pretty
for
much
you,
how.
and then they wait for you to respond like, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, even didn't even work for the question I asked him. Yeah. And so, yeah, geez, just so many changes, so many things going on. You know, people in and out of work. You know, in Shoreline, congrats to him. He's back in the full swing of things for his area of expertise. So he's sucks for us, but good for him that he can get out there and do what he likes to do.
Right. No kidding.
Changes for both you and I. You know, we started this and we were working for another company, and here we are. We've already almost been at this company another year,
right.
A whole year now at the new place.
Right. And
then changes even within that, you know, from areas, you know, you got hired in for this one specific thing and okay, did some of that. And then all of a sudden something else changes and you get pulled away to go work on whatever. And position changes and it's just crazy. And then COVID being there and then they lightening up and then shutting it down again and this whole variant thing and nobody knows what's going on to now the Afghan shutdown or that withdrawal, I guess.
Right.
Yeah, it's just been wild, man. So much stuff that's worked in tandem with this podcast the past year, you know?
No kidding. We've been on one hell of a roller coaster. And what's even more funny is whenever we record these episodes, like a good week to 2 weeks out, sometimes 3. And then when the episode drops, we totally don't plan out like when to drop these episodes. But when it does drop, it somehow lines up with what's been happening that week. I'm like, oh my God, this is like the best shit ever.
Yeah, it is. It is eerily strange how something we'll talk about will come to fruition weeks later on. I don't know. What do they call those people? Oracles? Are we oracles?
Are we oracles? I don't know. Am I oracle? I got to do some serious
I'm
drugs.
not a bird. Wait a minute. That's an Oriole.
We're like our own Simpsons, you know, we're the Simpsons of the podcast world.
Oh my God, the Simpsons predict everything. Yeah, that's true.
Right? We're totally doing it as a joke. And then it ends up happening like, wait a minute. I was kidding. I was just kidding. I'm sorry.
No, wait, come back.
No.
Yeah, it's very weird how that's been panning out, man. And, you know, like we've said this before, but these episodes could be 1,000 times better if we could actually go into detail about who, what, where, and when with stuff. Because I think some of what we talk about, maybe for you guys, listeners, it might get lost in translation. Like, I don't really know what you're referencing there, but it would if we could go into detail. What's going on out in the real world to what we're talking about in here would match up and it would make a lot more sense. Yeah. And I wish we could do that. And maybe one day we could, but we're not there yet.
No, not there at all. I mean, that would be a huge, that'd be like a huge legal undertaking on our part. So, I mean,
well, that's what I was about to chime in and say. So if any of our listeners out there are, or know someone who is an expert legal, who would like to work for a shout out, hit us up.
Please. There's so much dirt and tea in some of the shit we say. We almost slip it out as to what it is and who it is and where it's at. And I'm just like, oh, stop. Yeah.
So to our listeners, when you're like, these guys, man, the flow is kind of weak. You know what I mean? Because we'll talk about something, we'll just stop. It's not because we ran out of what to say. It's because we realized what we were saying was going to lead us to getting into trouble.
Yeah.
Like, I should probably stop while I'm ahead.
Right. Or like there's times I think when our first in-person recording, we said a lot of stuff and it blurted out or we came so close that Charlotte had to like double back and cut it out. So like we had like an episode, I think it was like an hour and some change. And then after we figured out where we said things wrong or came real close to it, and we cut it out, it shrank it down to like almost 45 minutes, I think it was.
Oh, yeah. It was, he cut a good 20 minutes or so off of that. I remember that episode. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, we had a really lot to talk about today. He's like, yeah. And a lot of it you couldn't say. So here we are.
Here we are. Still good though, but
here's the final product.
Right. Oh man, kudos to him, man. I think what Shoreline showed like just how extremely talented he is when we did that in-person recording with DTM. Like we had that super ghetto rig where we're trying to connect everything to the internet, even though we're like 3 feet apart from each other.
Yeah, trying to connect to the internet. We're 3 feet apart, but we had like, well, our mics were different than their mics, and then using the recording devices to sync up with like their phones.
Yeah.
Because they were using their phones to record and stuff. Oh my gosh. That was, you worked magic on it. I didn't do anything but just stand there.
That was
pretty.
That was such a ghetto rig, but the way it got the raw file good enough to where Shoreline could like minus out all the extra noise and the feedback from both the mics, the connection itself, and then just us being so close to each other that we're being picked up by the other person's mic. It was freaking crazy. It was so weird. Like
that's true. Yeah, you could hear it yourself through somebody else's mic. Yeah, that was a weird feedback loop.
That was so freaking weird. And I tried to like kind of single it out by myself, and I felt so bad. I almost wanted to tell DT, I'm like, yo, we fucked up. We're so sorry. And then here comes Shoreline. Like he just waves his magic wand, and then everything's all better. And you could not even tell. Like it just sounded like someone had one single mic in the room, and we were just talking around it. That's pretty much how it sounded. I'm just like,
he's the emerald of audio. Bam, and it just works.
Yeah, no kidding. Like sprinkle some. He put some MSG on it, then it's all better.
Some MSG.
Oh man,
but that's crazy because I think that's right because we all had headphones in, and it was so much feedback. It was you couldn't even focus. It was so distracting. So we were like, hey, why don't we just go headphones off?
Yeah,
and that's what we did. It worked out.
That's what we did. Oh man, it was so great. And honest and lesson learned from that, we're probably just going to get like one system where you can plug in 6 or more mics into it. And then we can just like free talk it and not have to worry about any of that extra loopiness. Eventually, I would like to do another collab with them and many others. There's so many nowadays that are blowing us up about wanting to do collaborations, and we totally want to. It's just a matter of scheduling you and us at the same time, because let's be real, our jobs plus whatever you're doing, they don't exactly line up. And there are times when we're free and their days off is like nowhere near ours. Like we were trying to do an episode with a bunch of women mechanics, and we were so raring to go. And then last minute, 3 of them got pulled into nights, so their time off got switched around. And we're like, well, fuck. Oh, well, let's just...
Plus, I think everyone but 2 was in a different time zone and or a different part of the world.
Yes, that was another one too. Like, so trying to have everyone on a similar time zone or on a similar time within 3 hours to a full day out of sync. It was such a hassle. We're still down to do it. Don't get me wrong, but just getting our schedules with theirs lined up was such a hassle. And then with all these other people who want to collab with us, oh, dude, we're totally down. So down. But
yeah. Don't get discouraged. We're not ignoring you and we're not blowing you off. Please don't think we're blowing you off. That's not the case. It's just with, like I said, our full-time jobs, your full-time jobs, time zone differences, everything else. And then again, I know everybody's tired of hearing of it, but the whole COVID thing and people going out, and then taking out others for close contact from work has, for me specifically, and I know for Six as well, but has caused longer days, longer weeks, less time off. Like we haven't even been recording as frequent as we were just because of those schedule differences. So even for Six and myself, it's been tough to line it up.
Yeah, there are times too when we said it to ourselves, like we don't want to chase an episode where we have to sit down, record, and then release that same day. And we've ended up having to do that just because of all the schedule changes and workarounds we had to have done. I mean, it's still doable, but it's nowhere near like the way we used to have it set up. And it's not too huge a deal, but like again, like we can't even get ourselves to line up because of all the extra pieces moving around. So again, don't be discouraged that we're taking forever to link up with you. It's just been pretty hard, and then getting all of us together, and it's one of those like, well, do I just take one of you, or do I take both of you, or what's going on? How do we work this out? So, and then
trying to get, sometimes we try to record multiple episodes at a time just to build a buffer up, but it's also tough to link in other people's schedules with that too. And like, okay, just for today example, the day of this recording, we were supposed to record this morning, and I got called into work at midnight last night. So I hit to work, and I spent the remainder of the night there into the early morning, getting home well after the time we were supposed to record this morning, and then crash out for a couple hours and wake up, and here we are. But just like that, overnight, it can be schedules can be flipped upside down.
Yeah. And for a lot of you out there who work in similar industries as us, like, when that phone call comes, it's either you answer it or you're out of a job for however long, or you're out of work for however long, especially for guys who are on flex or who are on commission, or like something where you only work when it's on demand. And
you only get paid when you're on call or when you get called.
So, I mean, we're kind of in a nice spot where at least the workflow is constant, but again, it always changes, it always flux. So again, that's our little apology. That's our apology for you guys all, but we're still doing the best we can to keep it rolling. But we're
still working through it.
But we especially thank you all for at least supporting us and giving us the opportunity to hear your stories, share your stories, hear some of your ideas, some of your opinions, some of your do's and don'ts, and then stuff that we could actually put out for episodes for other people to learn, listen, and equip themselves for. The example was like people asking us how to write resumes, how to go about taking testings, or where can they find like some apprenticeships that can take like zero experience. Those are the kind of stuff we especially love doing, because in the end, we want to give you guys the best opportunity possible, because we've did it the hard way, and it's kind of dumb how we did it. And we want to make sure that you get the best means possible.
Yeah, learn from our mistakes. Ask us as many questions as you can. I'm talking with people at work right now who are wanting to go back to school and finish their degree or whatever, and they're saying, "Well, I'm looking at this online place and this online place," and I'm giving them input. I said, "Hey, here's where I went to school. I wouldn't suggest it." Just because it's as we all know, a lot of these schools are very money oriented first, education, whatever comes second.
Right.
They care about you as long as the check clears. And so I was giving those people at my facility input on that, just because I didn't want to see them go through the same issues and fight the same fight that I had to do with, hey, learn from my mistake.
Yeah. I think there's some colleges or some schools that do that too, where like they'll start you off like, here's your basic plan, right? And it's pretty expensive as is. And then somewhere along the line, they try to upsell you like, oh, we can get it done, but you can get it done a whole lot faster if you do this. I'm like, but they say it in such a way where you start pondering yourself like, well, is it really worth the spend? I kind of need that now.
Yeah,
sure. Yeah.
But faster would be nice.
Right. And then, and then once they figure out they can milk you for it, they try to string you along for other shit. I'm like, oh, God.
Well, my experience was this, right? I would just get a notification like the day before the next class is going to start. Hey, you've been dropped from the school. What? Why? No, you haven't paid for the next class. The hell I didn't. I just checked my bank account, and that money's gone, and it went somewhere. I'm like, well, too bad. And then I'm like, well, you guys got to check your system. Then I'll get a call a few days later. Oh yeah, it was an error in our system. Somebody had an input error wrong. And I'm like, but the class already started, so you're gonna have to wait for the next one. So it got delayed by 5 to 7 weeks for issues on the school side. And then I got all the way to the last class, and they're like, oh, this class is no longer available. Sorry about your luck. I'm like, okay, well, is there an equivalency? Nope, there's not an equivalency. So you're just going to start over. Like a whole new program, an area of study, like for the degree? Yep. No.
Fuck.
Dude, I had to fight that shit tooth and nail. Finally, they're like, here, just take this and you'll get your thing. So I took it, right? But I'm like, and that was it. That was the last class. And I was like, God, I hope this degree shows up in the mail. And like 4 weeks went by and it finally showed up. And I was like, oh, thank God. But still.
Yeah.
Like just going through that. You went to school for 2 to 3 years, year round. And then they're like, oh, sorry, we don't offer the final class that it takes to graduate. What?
Oh, man. I heard,
and they say, they always say due to lacking interest. Like, who's lacking interest? I was like, I've just been in school for the last 3 years with 85 other people. Like, what's going on?
Yeah. Matter of fact, Buns, our special guest Buns, his wife, matter of fact, had a similar issue exactly like yours, where she finished out all her classes. She goes to apply for graduation. And then when they were starting to review her record, they told her that one or two of her classes didn't count towards her degree. So she had to spend another 1 to 2 semesters to get it. And she's like, the fuck?
Oh, yeah. You're like, why wouldn't that have counted?
Yeah.
Like, you guys, the ones who I didn't sign up for that. You told me it was part of the course.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, dude.
I did what you said.
I mean, in the end, she got it, but had the same exact problem as you. Like, oh, by the way, this doesn't count or this is dissolved. Like, son of a bitch. What?
I think these schools do that just as a way to scare people. Like, oh, okay, well, dang, I need my degree, so I'm going to start this over and just milk people for everything they got. And I see it. And so to all you veterans out there, I was in my class were several other veterans. And when those schools see somebody coming through with a VA loan, the school starts rubbing their hands together and licking their lips because they see free and easy money, and they'll milk it for everything they can and screw the individuals over.
Dude,
because as long as they can keep those people enrolled there, they'll keep taking that VA money.
Yeah, no shit.
And that's what they do. So to a lot of veterans, be wary of certain online schools.
Yeah, no.
I mean, be wary altogether, but be wary of certain online schools.
Yeah, no shit, man. Like, and you don't get that money back either. Like, once you blow it, that's a wrap.
Hell no, it's gone.
Yeah, you're like, well,
they have no problem taking it.
Yeah,
and issues getting you into whatever you spent that money on. It's crazy.
Ook, yeah, man. Then like, as far as us with the podcast, man, like, we're getting put on like magazines. Well, I wouldn't say magazines. But magazine sites, like, they're talking about us. We're on blog spots. We're on top charts and stuff like that. And then even more so with this new first ever Veteran Podcast Awards and stuff. I'm like just in shock of all of it, man. Like, I never once thought, man, like, even our names or our call signs would be on any magazine for that matter. And then even be mentioned on any chart, much less be within like the top 3,000.
Yeah. And then top 3,000 out of how many was it?
I think it was like 2 million, 2 or 3 million.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Like, that's like less than 1%, something like that. I'm terrible with math, but I know me fixing airplanes, and I'm terrible at math. I'm sorry, everybody. This is why things are fixed with duct tape.
That's why you see those memes of people taping engine nacelles on.
Right. But hey, that's legal and it works.
It is legal. That's the sad part.
And it works. But yeah, man, like we're being put up for awards and stuff like that. And honestly, again, it's all thanks to you all supporting us, listening to us, sharing your stories and all that. Like, we seriously cannot thank any of you enough for all of it. And there's so many of you to name, like specifically to thank. Is just like that we were to do that, like the names would be down the street already, just because, I mean, every single one of you, like, you've just been so instrumental in helping us become a success and making us want to keep doing what we're doing.
Hell yeah. It's been a fun ride, and you guys, just by showing us your support, you give us the motivation to go on. Because let's face it, if we were at episode 50 and we were only at 200 downloads, that might be a sign.
Right. Like,
well, this has been a good therapy session, but maybe we just don't need to record it now. Maybe we can just call each other on the phone and
right,
have the same conversation.
Right. Yeah. So where do we plan on going with this? I mean, again, we look forward to doing more collaborations with people. if and when like travel becomes a less restricted or more safe for that matter, we would love to like actually go out to locations where most of you are at, do episodes specific to the locations that we're actually seeing, things of that nature. Like we're so up and ready for it. Again, it's just a matter of the schedule and then the way everything is going with the economy and how it's panning out because of COVID. It's just not financially feasible at this moment.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. And as all of those who listen to us, but who live within the United States, we all know that everything is super expensive right now. With a individual in DC's wave of their magic decrepit old hand, everything just poof got expensive all over the place. Like it's insane. So
yeah,
yeah, like Six said, it's financially it's a little taxing, right, to be able to travel to everywhere that we want to go. But for me personally, one of my immediate not long-term goal, a little within reach goal, but to do more in-person recordings here with Six and hopefully Shoreline too, even though he lives a little further away from us than Six and I to each other. But yeah, a goal would be for us to sit face to face more often and have those conversations, because I think that would help a lot too and make things a little funnier with being able to feed off of one another more than we already do.
Most definitely. And another goal for us, me especially too, is to give a little bit more bonus content for all the extras that we do like like before we actually start recording, we do like almost 15 to 20 minutes of just extra shit, and we're just being a whole bunch of freaking clowns. And I kind of saw the idea from the DTM girls, especially. Like they would just, when they do their episodes, they would post like almost a solid 15 minutes of just them just horsing around, doing all like these crazy pregame rituals, like these singing warm-ups and voice exercises. It's freaking stupid. It's hilarious. I freaking love it. And I almost want to watch the YouTube video before I listen to the podcast itself, just so I can see the shenanigans that they do. It's freaking funny.
Yeah, I mean that'd be good, because oftentimes we're talking about, well, let's face it, we're talking about some nerd shit, right? We're talking about like comics, the Marvel series and all those kind of things, and going deep diving the history of stuff on that and the backstories of whatever, and then we'll talk about PlayStation 5 and new games coming out and what games and stuff like that. And we'll talk about just really the sky's the limit on that, right? And we had a conversation offline, wish we would have recorded it with Wiley.
Oh my god,
which was absolutely, I still think of that conversation and laugh my ass off.
That shit was
every
fucking
time.
funny, man. I fucking wish we should like bring her back on and just recreate that whole thing. We'll listen to like, okay, we didn't record it, but we should just like try to recreate that as best as possible. Like, what were we talking about again? Fuck it, let's just roll it.
Yeah,
that was fucking great.
So that would be that's a good idea, Six. Maybe we should just, as soon as we all, hey, how's it going, and just hit record right away, and then we'll let Shoreline cipher through the BS and see what's worthy of keeping and what's not.
Right. So more on that. That's coming down the pipe. But again, we, all the success, all the greatness, all the cool things that are coming for us, that was like partly our individual and group effort, but the most of it was all because of you all. I mean, not to grease your ego as hard as I am, but it really is true. Like we would not have gotten
totally
here.
Greasing that ego. Grease it away. Grease it up.
Grease it up. Put your elbows into it.
Crisco that ego.
Hell yeah. Like that freaking Mr. Meeseeks thing. No, not Mr. Meeseeks. What is it? The dude from Family Guy.
Mr. Herbert.
Yeah, Herbert.
Get your fat ass back here.
I got some more stuff for you in the basement. Whoa. Whoa.
But yeah, to our listeners, thank you for listening. Tell your friends, keep on listening. Keep on hitting up us on the social medias. If you want to talk to me specifically, I'll get there. It'll just know that it's going to be again 6 notifying me that somebody's asking for me because I suck.
Yeah, I'm a pseudo secretary for everyone else. Like, yo, send a message. Oh, sure thing, friend. No problem. Mr. MVP's office.
Hello, paging MVP. Yeah. Yeah, that and more guests. We still have a few others that live close to us that we want to bring on that I think will end up being pretty interesting conversations and funny ones too. As soon as we can get your sister on, that'd be a good one.
That would be a good one. I can imagine the team from that one. Oh,
I know. And then I got another Marine buddy of yours I want to bring on, who's been a longtime friend of mine. They don't think they have the voice for it, and I told them they have the perfect face for a podcast. So hopefully I can con them into coming on here at some point too, because they want to meet you as a fellow Marine. They haven't met you yet, so
yeah, let's do it.
I think that'd be good as well.
You know what we could do? We can play it like a radio station where we just call them like, "Yo, what's up?" It's like, "Oh, by the way, you're on here." Like, busy. Like, did he just hang up on us? Call him back.
Oh, that would be. I'm like, "Hey, what are you doing right now?" "Oh, I'm taking a shit." "Oh, so you got time? Sweet." So, hey, how do you feel about helicopters and turbine engines?
Right. Like, good. So you're not going anywhere for the next 30 minutes. That's terrible. Let's do it. I'm down.
We should do a side episode called a little side episode where it's called On the Commode. And it's just conversations people haven't sitting on the toilet. Because they're going to be there a while. Oh, man.
I'm down. Let's do it. But put a vote, everybody. Send us a line. Should we do something like that? I'm down.
It'd be like a TED Talk, right?
Right.
You're listening to On the Commode with Six, Shoreline, and MVP.
Why does that guy sound like he's in the bathroom? Because he is.
Because he is.
We know he ain't going anywhere. Oh, shit. Oh, my God. On that note, oh, my God. Any final thoughts, MVP?
No, not too much. Just wanted to kind of give all the listeners out there a heads up on where we've been, where we're going again, and just kind of keep you guys in the loop and let you know we're not abandoning you. We're still trying. It's just life gets in the way at some points, and we're still enjoying what we're doing, and hopefully you guys are still enjoying what we're doing, and we hope to continue this on for a long time.
For sure. Absolutely on all points. I mean, pretty much said everything that I wanted to say. Thank you again.
Sorry.
Thank you. No,
your words.
No, not at all. Like, thank you again, everybody. Thank you for all you're doing. Thank you for listening. Thank you for supporting. And again, if you want us to do that on the Commode thing, just send us a line, send us a vote, something, let us know. And then if you haven't yet, visit the Veteran Podcast Awards website and vote for us in one or all of 3 categories. We're in leisure, we're in best Marine Corps, and best overall. So no shame, vote for us in one or all. And then,
yeah, please do. Throw your vote out there for us. And I believe you can only vote one time, but tell your family, friends. Every vote helps us,
right? And then,
which we appreciate.
Well, we greatly appreciate. And and then check out some of our friends and participants also in the podcast awards, like Cruise Corner, Women with an Effed Up Mind, the Nonprofit Architect. Oh, thank you. He's also the MC for the awards too. And tune in. The voting ends September 18th, and then the podcast awards itself is October 5th. Yeah, I want to say it's October 5th, which is an actual national holiday now, or national day, kind of like National Donut Day. Not a holiday, but it's like National Donut Day. So it's actually a registered national day now.
Interesting. I did not know that.
The heck yeah, man. So if we win something, 5th
is National Podcast Day.
Heck yeah, man.
Cool.
Yeah. So head on over, vote, and thank you again for everything. On that note, thanks everybody.
Bye, everyone.